Does the boy wonder Nightwing need a sidekick? Hi, I'm Jason Inman.
And I'm Ashley Victoria Robinson.
We both love Nightwing, but we're also here to answer some nerd questions. And today we're answering a nerd question from one of our patrons. That patron is...
Eric McNamee.
Eric McNamee, who has the most yellowest cape this side of the Mississippi. It's the most yellow cape you've ever seen. It's very impressive. But he gave us this question on patreon.com/Jawin. If you want your question answered in one of these videos, go to patreon.com/Jawin and you'll be like Eric McNamee. And we're going to answer his question. Does Nightwing need a sidekick? Ashley, does Nightwing need a sidekick?
No.
Well, that's a short video. Thank you so much for your question, Eric. If you want to... No, you got to expand more than that.
Well, you did that same joke in a previous video. I don't think Nightwing needs a sidekick.
Mm-hmm. You think a sidekick needs a sidekick?
Well, when he's Nightwing, he's not a sidekick.
He used to be a sidekick.
I really like it when Nightwing teams up with some of the other Robins. Mm-hmm. I like it when he works with Batgirl or Orphan or whatever the... I'm not going to swear.
Batgirl.
We're calling Cassandra Cain at the time. Black Bat, that was a great identity for her. I like it when he teams up with other Bat family members, but I don't think Nightwing needs a specific character who only serves as Nightwing's sidekick. And I think one of the interesting things about Nightwing's legacy, I don't always love the idea that once he becomes Nightwing, he's mad at Bruce forever and they never reconnect.
No, he gets over it.
But I like the idea that he does operate not as a rogue agent, but as a single person, a little separate from the Bat family. And then every once in a while when he's working with them, or he needs an assistant, he'll bring in someone else. But I don't think he always needs someone there with him. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. I will say this. I think my answer is no permanently. But I do like the idea of a Nightwing storyline where he is training another younger superhero, especially since that is where he got started. Mm-hmm. There's something very interesting about the symbolic nature of that storyline. Although Nightwing, especially since he was a sidekick and broke away from Batman, I do think you detract from him if you give him a sidekick. It doesn't really make sense. I don't know if he would subject another kid, but again, I could see like a 6-issue storyline covering the idea of Nightwing sidekick, and then him convincing this kid to not be a superhero anymore.
Sure. I just think it would be weird if I opened up the Nightwing title every month and he also had sidekick who was always, that's a production company.
Well, Wingnut is also is the fan name for Nightwing fans, is Wingnuts.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've literally never heard that.
Well, you have now, baby.
I just think it would be odd to give him a permanent sidekick. But that's a horrible name.
Duckwing?
No.
We got to name Nightwing sidekick.
Darkwing.
It's got to be something with wing.
No, you call him Flamebird.
Oh, because it go Nightwing and Flamebird?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Firebird?
What's wrong with... What is the difference between Firebird and Flamebird?
I don't know. It just sounds cooler. Because it's a car. It's what the smoke...
Is it?
It's what the Bandit drives. I try to call him Smokey.
It's what
Burt Reynolds is driving in heaven right now.
Smokey drives.
Go Google that reference, everybody.
So we kind of both agree that he doesn't need like a permanent sidekick. But maybe who are some people that he's teamed up with that you really enjoyed?
Well, let's talk about this. Dick Grayson, not Nightwing, has already had a sidekick. Because
who's Batman?
Damian Wayne was his sidekick as Robin. Mm-hmm. But that's why I said Nightwing did not have a sidekick. But Dick Grayson has already had a sidekick. He teams up weirdly with Damian the Best. And the reason why is because of all the Robins, or all the Robin characters, Damian acts the most like Bruce. Mm-hmm. Which is why I kind of think that Dick and Damian sort of, gel so well, is because Dick is like, I spent a decade working with older Bruce. Now I get to work with younger Bruce, and he has to listen to my orders. Easy. So, he knows exactly the right buttons to press. So he teams up very well with Damian. He teams up very well with Tim. He doesn't really team up very well with Jason Todd.
They do have some interesting scenes when they're forced together, though, because Dick is very much the golden boy Robin, and then Jason is, like, the failure.
Yeah.
So I think it breeds for really interesting storytelling. Like, I also really like Dick when he has to play against Roy, and Dick, again, is sort of the golden boy of the Titans, and Roy is the big failure. So watching them have to reconcile those feelings while working together, I think is always interesting from a character perspective.
In the 90s, there were a lot of really great comic books that had the relationship between Wally West as Flash and Dick Grayson as Nightwing.
They're such good, like, buddies. Because they both have
Yeah.
even in the new Teen Titans stuff, because they both have that very positive outlook. And then in my first comic book, Teen Titans 39, that's where they walk away. Like, they both agree at the same time that we are dumping these old identities because we have to grow up.
And it's because of that comic book. Because they're not really best friends in that new Teen Titans run at all.
No.
I think it's because of that single issue that you just mentioned in your first comic book is the reason why it was sort of retconned or brought into the 90s that these two dudes are best friends.
Yeah. Actually, in New Teen Titans, he's really close with Donna. Donna's like a really good friend of his. In some mythologies and some continuities, they have a relationship. But I like the idea that maybe they hooked up or dated when they were really young, but they're more like brother and sister.
Yeah.
I kind of like that relationship for the two of them.
You know what I think who would make a very interesting Nightwing sidekick?
Nightwing Jr.?
No, Jimmy Olsen.
No.
Yes, because
he's Flamebird.
he has been in certain continuities.
Yes, I know.
And Superman was Nightwing. Because they're both the sort of same rank compared to their big superhero.
Well, and they served the same purpose narratively for a long time.
They do. Like, a lot of people like to give it to Supergirl, but it's not. Like, it's more Nightwing's contemporary on the Superman side is really... I mean, honestly, it's actually Lois. But, you know, it'd be Jimmy. It would be interesting to see, like, sort of a World's Finest miniseries between the two of them.
Sure. I don't like Jimmy Olsen as a superhero.
And you're wrong, as the internet's going to tell you. I don't know, who would you want to... Let me ask you this. You're given your druthers. Ashley, I bring all the money to you right now.
Yes.
And I say, Ashley, I'm going to greenlight a miniseries right now. Nightwing and blank. And in this series, blank is going to sort of be Nightwing's second-in-command sidekick, if you will. Who do you put in that miniseries?
I think it's a travesty that there hasn't been a Nightwing and Batgirl series.
Oh, really? Has there not been?
No, it was never the title.
It's interesting. I don't view Barbara as his sidekick. I view them as equals.
I do too, but I would like a book where they had to function together.
Yes.
In a long-term capacity without Batman, because the only time we ever see them pairing up is where they are working either in service of Batman or the Justice League. So I would kind of like it if they sort of graduated and they were like dueling lieutenants and they like went out to the world. Maybe they go to Europe somewhere as part of Batman Inc. or something like that.
Interesting.
If Barbara Gordon has to be Batgirl, which apparently is the way that the universe operates.
It's
now.
locked. It's locked in now.
Yeah.
Like just like Barry Allen now for will ever be the Flash from here on out. Barbara Gordon's always gonna be Batgirl now.
Yeah, it would also be hard for me not to want to say Tim Drake, and I never understood why when Dick was Batman, Tim wasn't Nightwing. Like, we made him Red Robin.
Because that wasn't Grant Morrison's pitch.
I just don't. It just makes no sense to me because we had that identity
Yeah.
set up. I would my knee-jerk reaction is to say like Nightwing and Batgirl. I just think it would be really good, and I think it's been such a wasted opportunity to team them up for such a long time.
They've had a lot of team up recently.
Well, they've had a lot of team up one-shots or moments, but never an ongoing series where we were allowed to explore what that looks like.
Sure, and they've done a more recent thing too because they both drastically de-aged both of them.
Yeah.
So what were you gonna say?
I was gonna ask who comes to mind for you if
Jimmy Olsen was the one.
Okay.
Watch it. Okay, well, for that miniseries, I don't think I would do Jimmy Olsen. I mean, I honestly would want to do Wally West. I'd want to do Wally West.
Which Wally West?
I mean, the white one.
Classic Wally West?
The classic Wally West. Look, I like... we can get into lots of conversations about that. It's problematic that there are two Wally Wests. One's Wallace West and one's... What they should have done is we should have just retconned that Wally West was African American and just moved on.
The whole time, yeah.
And the Wally West that was in the Teen Titans with Dick was African American and just moved on.
Yeah.
The fact that we got so bothered that we had to have white Wally West back again, to me, like, it makes no difference what skin color that character is. He's still Wally.
If you want to hear us rant more about that, be sure to ask us to talk about it in your Patreon.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, give us a Patreon question of what are our thoughts on DC Rebirth. I don't know, but for me, I would want to do that. And yeah, and it wouldn't matter, like, to me, because when they introduced African-American Wally West, they wrote him exactly the same way as white Wally West. So to me, when they first introduced that character, I was like, oh, okay, this is Wally West now.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Sure. It works. I'd age him up a little bit, more like what the TV series did.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I like that. I like that. I would do that. I would do Wally West. Don't care what version. And Dick Grayson.
That's cool. I like that.
That's what I do. And I'd call it Brave and the Bold.
Nice.
Or I'd call it The Brave and the Bat.
Call it Flashbat.
The Whizzer and the Wing. No, not Flashbat. No. Flashwing.
Flashwing.
Is that the
Night
sequel
Flash?
to Flashpoint? Night Point.
Yeah.
Flash Night.
So this time Dick Grayson missed his mommy, so he had Wally West running back in time.
Oh
and
my
reset
God.
the timeline.
You've got to catch them both, Wally, before they hit the splat. Oh God.
Wally could.
He could actually.
Or Wally could just go and set up the net.
Why didn't he? Night splat.
Because Wally and Dick are not that good friends. We solved it. You're welcome.
All right, Eric McNamee, thank you so much for your question, and we are admiring your amazing pixie boots from the West Coast. If you want to be like Eric McNamee and you want to ask a question, head on over to patreon.com/Jawin. Support the Mind University level, and we will answer your question. Give you a shout out just like we did Eric. Go down to the comments. Tell us what your thoughts about Nightwing having a sidekick is, and while you're down there, click subscribe.
And for more exclusive geeky content, don't forget to check out patreon.com/Jawin.
Bye.